Heavy artillery is pounding Gaza constantly. The Israelis say they're making the earth shake. And as residents of one of Gaza City's refugee camps inspected what had happened in the night, that was how it felt. It's like an earthquake, said Al-Ahmadi. No one's paying us attention. It's an execution. Many Palestinians believe Israel wants to force them out of Gaza, and they interpret it as a threat, not a warning, when Israel's army tells them again to move south from places like this. As for the Israeli people, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued a solemn warning.
The war inside the Gaza Strip will be difficult and long, and we are prepared for it. This is our second war of independence. We will fight for the defense of the homeland.
In Sderot, the Israeli town closest to Gaza, the streets where Hamas killed civilians and soldiers 3 weeks ago today are deserted. The danger didn't stop Zila Cohen and her son driving down here to bring a picnic to her daughters who are doing their military service. They sat down in a car park not far from the border wire. The war, they said, was about survival. Hamas had shown it wanted to force them out. You can hear the war. Aren't you scared?
I'm scared, but if my daughter is here, so I go where she's here.
And you bring lunch?
Yes, to all the soldiers.
You know, when you live side by side with people, and you come to understand that you cannot trust them. So what you do? What the answer for that? What any other nation would have done? Much more that we are doing right now, and I'm assuring you, much more that we will ever do.
The new phase of Israel's assault started last night with dozens of airstrikes. Israel believes overwhelming military strength can pacify Gaza. But military power alone has never brought lasting quiet, let alone peace, in this conflict's long history. Israel claimed one of its strikes killed a senior Hamas commander. Israeli tanks and soldiers moved forward into the north of the Gaza Strip. Gaza's visible from a hill in Sderot. Israel will resist pressure for a ceasefire. And there's another factor. The more Palestinians that Israel kills, especially civilians, the greater the levels of anger and outrage elsewhere in the Middle East among Israel's friends as well as its enemies. Now, that doesn't guarantee that the war would spread, but it does increase levels of anger and volatility in a part of the world that is already very fragile. Israel's ground war has started. Containing it here is now the biggest political and diplomatic challenge in the world. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News in southern Israel.